Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're going to continue with our introduction to MySQL and writing SQL codes. Okay, so we are moving into the phase of database design. Okay, so in this database design we have looked at introduction to database design and database design cycles in the last tutorial, so you can check that if you haven't checked it out. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, again, welcome back. Welcome to this channel. This channel is just called Prince, where we learn different technologies, data analysis, data science, machine learning, web development, back-end development, and all that stuff. Okay, and all that cool stuff and all the AI stuff on the sites. Okay, so let's jump into today's video. We are going to be looking at entity relationship diagrams. So what is an ERD or entity relationship diagram? So an entity relationship diagram is a type of flowchart. Okay, you can think of it as a flowchart that illustrates how entities such as people, objects, or concepts relate to each other within a system. Okay, I got this definition from this website right here, and you can check that out at lucidcharts.com. Okay, so we're going to be using we're going to go learn about ERDs and how to plot ERDs in this video. Okay, so to plot ERDs, you have looked at what ERDs are already, and if you don't know what ERDs are, I can just give you a quick brief of this. Is basically what an ERD diagram is, an entity relationship diagram. Okay, so the different ways you can draw ERD diagrams, just like the one I have shown you here, right here. So you can draw ERD diagrams using draw.io, lucidchart, db diagrams .io and stuff like that. Okay, so in this video we're going to go ahead and draw the ERD diagram of the classic model database that I've been using throughout this series. So if you haven't checked out the video or videos about this whole series from the beginning, you can check out those videos and get an overview of what the classic model database is. Okay, so you can even check online. This is actually a very popular database model. You can check it online and you can learn more about the classic model. Okay, classic models, I think they're called classic models. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and draw an ERD just like the one you see right here. Okay, so let's jump into it. So what you can simply do is just go into Google and search for draw.io, and simply create an account and log into the account. So once you log into the account, you should be able to see something like this, right? A new blank page. So once you are in there, so make sure you go to draw.io.com on Google, and then or Brave or whatever browser you're using, just search for draw.io, sign up for an account, and if you log into your account, you should create a blank document. You should see something like this. Okay, so once you get in there, we're going to go ahead and begin to draw our ERD. Okay, so in our database, I've already mapped everything out already. So you can think of it like you're doing the research or trying to design this database from scratch. So you have assumed that you have gathered the requirements from the business, the different business different business departments, and all you have every requirements already gathered. And now you have identified the different entities, and now you're going to go ahead and draw the different tables. So you can actually check out the actual database that you've been using to follow along with this video. Okay, so the first thing you're going to go ahead and do is go ahead and create this entity. So I'm just going to go ahead and if you go in here, you see it should be something just like this. So just go into the just scroll down to the part of entities, expand this one, and then simply you can begin to draw your entities right here. Okay, so you can see all that, and you can begin to draw this entity. So let's go ahead and begin to draw it. The first table I'm going to create is the product lines table. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this table this diagram right here, and I'm going to go ahead and change this to be product lines. Okay, so I'm just go ahead and simply say product lines, just like that. So product lines, and in product lines table we have a couple of things that we that are needed. So the first one being the product line. Okay, just the product line. So we just go ahead and give it a name here. It's just going to be product line, just like that. And also one thing we need, the product line is a primary key. Remember, we talked about in the last video as well. So the product line is a primary key. So this is the PK in here stands for primary key. So let me just zoom in so that you guys can see this better. So the PK stands here for product line. Okay, so the PK stands for product line. And once we have that, we can see it's even underlined. So this shows that that's the primary key. So always keep your primary keys here. Okay, don't keep your primary keys anywhere here. No, just keep them here on top, where they're underlined, bolded, and next to this primary key. PK initial. So once we have that, we also have the text description. So this is another field from our database, and you can check that out in the MySQL Workbench. Okay, so I'm going to say text description. I don't want to waste your time by going back and forth through MySQL Workbench, because that's be a waste of time. So you guys, you have the database, you can all check along. If you want to get the database, you can check out the beginning of this series where we already have that database. So we have the product description there, and then we have the text description. Now also I'm going to add the HTML description. So these are all fields from our product database. Okay, So I can even just go in there and show this to you. So I'm just going to go in here, and I can go ahead and click on the classical model. I can go into the models right here, and we are designing the product lines table. So if I just visualize this, I just click on that and pull out all the records. So you can see we have the product line, which is going to be our primary key, and you can see that right here is our primary key. Okay. And now if you want to confirm this is a primary key, you can just click on this right here, and you can see that you have the table, and you can see right here this product line is our primary key. That's pk, so that indicates it's a primary key. So let's go into a class common database and click on the products, the spanner, kind of like spanner button next to it, and this should show you this right here. So you can see it's a primary key right here. So that's our primary key. And then we also have another one, which we have text description, we have HTML description. We also have the image description, image, which is going to be used to store image file. So you just say image, just like that. So that's all we need to do when you have created our entity right there. So you can see we have that entity created. Good. So once we have that entity created, this entity can have some foreign keys and other stuff like that, relationship with other tables. But now, for now, we'll just don't worry about these relationships. We'll come back to it just in a second. But for now, these are the columns that you have created, right? So good. So once we have that, I'm going to go ahead and continue drawing our graph. So another table that we're going to go ahead and create is the products table. So the products table. Okay. So for the products table, what you can see me do is just drag and drop another field right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop this one right here, and we're going to simply call it products. So products, just like that. And what we need here is the primary key, and the primary key is going to be the product code. Okay, so you can also go ahead and into your MySQL Workbench, you go into the products table, click on this spanner icon, and you can see we have one primary key, which is called the product code. So we go in here and just simply add it right here. So you say product code, just like that. So, and you can see it's next to the primary key. Good. So what other columns do we have? We have another column called product name. So let's go ahead and add that in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and say product name, just like that. So we have that column, and the next column we have is the product line. So that product line is going to be a foreign key, so the products line table. So we say product line, just like that. And then we also go ahead and add another one, which is the product scale. So product scale, well, I just have everything already written, so let me just use it, the ones I already have. So I'm going to say product let me see, is it product scale? Product scale. Okay, yeah, so product scale, you can add that here. So product scale, and then you can go ahead and add another column. So you can select this right here and just click Control and D to duplicate, add more. Okay, so product code, the product scale, and then also we have a couple more. The another one being the let me see, the product the product vendor. Okay, so the product vendor. So I'm going to go ahead and simply say product vendor, and then we have the product vendor. We also have the product description, which is going to be here. So product description, product description. Also we have the product quantity it's called quantity in stock. Okay, so quantity in stock, so quantity in stock. So I already have this fields written, so we don't keep navigating between multiple windows. Okay, so we also have the buy price, so buy price, and then we also need to duplicate this. So control it, select this cell, and then control and D to duplicate it. Okay, so we also have another one called the MSRP. We talk about the MSRP, which is a manufacturer suggested retail price. Okay, so once we have that done, we are good to go. So let's first of all create all the tables first, and then later you figure out the connections and the cardinalities and stuff like that. Okay, so let's drag in another one right here, and I'm going to call this one, it's going to be the order details table. So let's say order details, order details. I just try to keep the same naming convention as that in the database. Okay, so we have a couple of primary keys. Let me just delete this for now. I think I made a mistake. I need to select this one right here. So drag it and bring it right here. So yeah. Okay, so what we have here is going to be called the order details. So order details, just like that. And we have a couple of primary keys. So this is going to be a primary key. So let me just update that to a primary key. And the first one is going to be called the order number. So let's change that to be order number. And then we also have another primary key right here, which is going to be called just change the name to be primary key, and it's going to be called the product code. So product code. So let me just add it a product code, and then finally we have the we have the quantity ordered and price each. So let's add those one right here. So quantity ordered, so quantity ordered, and then we have the price each, so the price each of those products. And then now we need another column, so I'm going to select this one and then simply hit Control D to duplicate it. Okay, so once I have it duplicated, I'm going to go ahead and add this one. It's going to be order line number. So it's going to be order line number, just right here, order line number. Okay, good. So we have that right there. So we have the all that information that we need. So what another entity do we need? So now that I have all that table created, so I just go ahead and minimize this, make it smaller a bit. So once we have all that there, I'm going to go ahead and add in another entity that we have. So another entity we have is the employee entity. So I can just go ahead and simply drag and drop another one right here. This is going to be for the employees. Okay, so let's change it to be employee. So employee table, employees, I think, yeah, you can call it employees, or yeah, employees, we can just call it employees. So we have a primary key, and we called employee number. So let's change it employee number, just like that. And then we have a couple of things after that. So the first one is going to be the last name of the employee. Okay, so we're going to say last name, and then finally we have the first name, first name, and then we have the extension, right? The extension of that specific employee. So I'm going to move down here and then say extension. And then finally I need another one, so I'm just going to duplicate this a couple more times. So extension, and then finally we have the email, and then the office code. So email, we have the office code. Okay, so I'm just going to follow the naming convention that they use in the data, so that in the tables that we have in a database, so that we are in sync, right? So I also have the reports too. Going to be reports too. Okay, and then finally we have the last one, which we call the job title. So maybe the job title of that employee. Okay, so once I have this, I don't need this right here, so I can just delete that. Okay, so now just double click it and then delete to get rid of it. So once we have that done, good. So what other entity do we have? We have another entity called the customer, and then we have like 4 more entities to go. Okay, so we have customer entities. So let me just go ahead and actually add that customer entity. So drag and drop right here. It is just a duplicate repetition, just like we're moving in cycles, right? The same thing over and over again, just some things are changing. So we have this called customers, and then the primary key is going to be called the customer number. So change this to be customer number, just like that. So customer number, and then finally we have the customer first name. Okay, so customer first name, and then finally we have the customer first name, you have customer last name, phone, city, and region. So customer first name, let me just check if that's the thing we have in our database as well. So customers table, this is the table right here, so just click on this right here. So we have customer number, right? We have the customer name, and then we have the contact. Okay, so it's like actually customer name. So let's go ahead and do that right here. So just going to go in here, and this is going to be customer, let me just check again, is customer name, right? So not customer first name, just customer name. So customer name, and then after that we have the contact last name and contact first name. So contact last name, so be contact, just move that out of the way, contact first name, and then here be contact last name. So contact last name, just like that. So we need this a couple of more, so just select it and then Control D on your keyboard, just duplicate a couple more of time. So another thing we have is going to be the, let me just check it out, it's going to be the customer phone. So phone, and then address 1 and address 2. So phone and then address 1, let me just see, address line 1. Okay, address line 1, and this is going to be address line 2, address line 2. And then what else we have? So we also have the city. Okay, so city, so I'm going to go ahead and simply add in here the city of that specific customer. So the city, and then we have state and postal code. So city, let me just duplicate this, city, state, and it's going to be postal code. So postal code. And then we also have the country of that specific customer. So duplicate this, I just hit Control Save just to save it in case anything happens. Okay, so once I have this, I'm going to go ahead and hit Control D to duplicate it, and then I'm going to go ahead and it's going to be country of that specific customer. So good. So we have everything there that and everything that we needed. So we are good to go. So we need another entity, which is going to be, just go ahead and simply drag this and place it here. So this entity is going to be the orders entity, and this is just the orders table from our database, right? So you can go in here and go into the orders table. So let me just close this up. I don't need this. Okay, so go to the orders table and just click on this spanner icon next to it. Just click on that, and then you can see all the fields that we need, and which is the primary key. And okay, so don't worry about all this. We'll cover all this in the upcoming video. So let's go ahead and just create an entity with these specific fields. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and simply say this is gonna be, let me just check that out. That was the order number. So order number, we have the order number, we have the order date. Okay, so this is going to be order date, and then we have the required date. Do that, and this here is going to be required date, and then finally we have shipped date. So shipped date, shipped. Let me just get that out of the way. So shipped date. Okay, and then just select this and Control D to duplicate it a couple of times. So we also need status, comments, and customer numbers. So status, comments, and customer number. So here is gonna be status of the order, whether it's been shipped or not, or is in progress or not. So status, customer number, and then we also have the comments. Okay, so comments. So just like this, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this one more time. And this is going to be, let me change this to be comments, right? So comments. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what we need for the orders table. So let me just change the name to be orders. Okay, orders, just like that. So make sure you follow the naming convention, because I'm trying to do everything to be the same as the one we have in our database that we're working since the beginning of this series, so that we don't have any confusion. Okay, so once we have that done, we are good to go. And let's go ahead and create another one more, which is going to be called this is going to be called offices. So I'm going to change it to be offices. So offices, and you're going to have our office code. So office, we have office code, we have the city, we have the phone. So this is going to be phone. We have the address one. So address line 1. Okay, so just like that. So let me just select this and duplicate it a couple of more times. Okay, so duplicate this a couple more times. So we have that one there, and we're going to go ahead and have state, and then we're going to go ahead and have the country, and then finally we have the postal code and the territory. So postal code, and finally I need to duplicate another row. So duplicate this, and it's going to be territory. I hope that's a spelling of, yeah, territory. So good. So that's basically it, and we have one more last entity to be done with, and this is going to be the payments entity. So drag that in here, and you're going to call this one payments, just like that. And each payment is going to have a unique unique number, right? So this going to be actually you're going to have something right here, and this is going to be the primary key. You're going to select that and make it to be bold. Okay, and then here we're going to go ahead and have an underline, just like that. And this is going to be another primary key, and I'm going to call this a primary key. Let's start the first one. The first one is going to be the customer number. So customer number. Actually, this is going to be a foreign key, so not a primary key. It's going to be a foreign key in this table. So let me just go ahead and change this to be a foreign key, just FK for foreign key. And the primary key is going to be the check. Okay, so this is going to be the check number, just like that. And if we have the payment date, so payment date, and then finally we have the amount of that payment, so amount. Good, so that's basically it. So this is a foreign key right here, and this is also a foreign key in here. So let's say a foreign key, and then we can make that to be bold. Okay, bold, and it's going to be a foreign key. And another place where we have foreign keys, you can just identify all of them. It is going to be an order it's going to be order table, order number. This is going to be a foreign key, and you can just make that to be bold. You have a foreign key right there as well. Okay, so product line, we have the product line is also a foreign key, so FK for foreign key, and we can make that bold as well. So that's good. Okay, so let's see, employee, and then the offices. The office is gonna be office code is gonna be a foreign key as well. So foreign key, and just make that bold as well. Okay. For the customer, we have the customer now is primary key, postal code, blah blah. All these are not none of them is a primary key. None of them is a foreign key in here. And then here none of them is a foreign key. Here we have one foreign key and one primary key. Okay, so I think we have everything that we need to go. Yeah, that's basically it. So let's try to connect these two tables. Let's try to find establish all the relationships, and we are good to go. So the relation between the employee and the customer, right? Okay, the employee and the customers. Is there any relation between the employee and the customers? I don't think. Okay, let's start from here. Let's begin from here. Okay. So the first one I'm going to establish is the relation between the product line and the uh, and the the products table, okay, or the products entity. So one thing you have to notice in here is that we are going to use something called cardinalities. So let's call entity cardinalities, and these are the different cardinalities right here. So I'm going to be using the cardinalities, and on the while using it, I'm going to explain to you what each cardinality means. Or you can just hover right here and you can get the name of the cardinality. So if you hover a button, a pop-up should come up here, so you can see that this cardinality is one mandatory to one optional. That's one cardinality. So just look for the cardinality that I'm interested in right here, and we just use that specific cardinality. So I'm looking for specific cardinality. So you can just move here and just find the cardinality that you are interested in. So this is a cardinality I'm interested in. So I'm just going to go ahead and map it here. So this is going to be this, just like that. So let me just drag this to relate with this one. So the product code. So one product line many products can have one product line, right? One product line can be used by many products. Like you can have a product, maybe 10 different cars, but they're all coming from the same product line of classic cars, right? So many products can belong to one product line. Okay, and one product line can have many products underneath it. Okay, so that is one mandatory, like each product must belong to one and only one product line, and that's what this cardinality, one and only one. So that's what it means. Okay. I think it's right here. So you can see one mandatory to this is optional to one optional. So one mandatory to many optional. So one mandatory to many optional. That's that cardinality. So let's move on to this relationship right here and try to establish this relationship. So let's think of the relation between a product and the order. So one product right here can have one or can have 0 or 1, can belong to 0 or 1 order, right? Can be actually one product can belong into many orders. So essentially one product can be here, right? So let's go ahead and establish that relationship. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring the cardinality for that relationship. So we can just go ahead and use that cardinality right here. So let me just bring that cardinality. So this is gonna be one mandatory to optional and one. So let me just find that cardinality, and you're going to use that cardinality is right here. So that's the cardinality I want to use. So I'm just going to bring it right here and map it to the product code. So product code right here is going to be our foreign key, and this our primary key. There we go. So that's we have mapped that relationship right here. So this is basically that relationship right there. Okay, so once we have that done, we are going to go. So let's go ahead and map with other relationship quickly and then be done with this. Okay, so I don't want the video to be extremely long. So an employee, you can see we have here reports to, right? So one employee can report to another employee. Like we can have a CEO, and under the CEO, many employees report the CEO, right? So you can have an optional, like an employee cannot report to anyone or can report to someone, right? So like a CEO doesn't report to anyone, he's a top, right? But people want to see the CEO report to someone above him. So you can actually check that out in the database if you want, but let's actually go ahead and quickly find the cardinality to map this relationship and be done. So let me just go ahead and find it right here. So this is not the cardinality I want. So this is I think is, let me just find it right here. Yeah, I think it's this one right here. So let's go ahead and map it right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag this and bring it in here, and then the other one is going to be reports to. So sorry, drag this one right here and say reports to. So that's the relationship I want. Okay, so one employee can report to someone above him, but yeah, an employee can report to someone or cannot report to someone. That's what this cardinality means. Okay, so An employee can is optional. This is an optional parameter. It can report to someone or cannot report to someone. And one employee can have one or many people underneath him. And that's one. That's what this means. One or many. One or many. So that's the cardinality. And then we can go ahead and have another connection between the employees and then the different offices and here. So you can just bring this a bit closer. So the employee and the different offices. So this is going to be a one to a mandatory. We're going to have a mandatory one and an optional many. So this one right here. Let me try to find, I think it's this one right here. Yeah, good. So we begin to map this. So this one goes here and then this one goes to the office. Okay, so I made a mistake. Let me just undo that. So let me just select the right thing. Okay, so sorry for that. So yeah, this is what I want to do. Okay, so basically let me try to move this one above here. So it remains like that. So that's a relationship. Right? So, yeah, right there. So that's basically it. Yeah, so that's it. And we are good to go. So let me just also move this one a bit. So let me just undo that and just make sure I select this column and move it up. Okay, good. So once we have that done, we are good to go. So one employee, right? Like one employee, like an office can have one, none or many employees are working for that office, right? So I think this should be one or many because an office cannot have zero people working inside of it, right? But let's just leave that to be an optional or many. So and then one employee can work with one and only one office. So an employee from here can work with only one and only one office. But an office can have none or many employees. It should actually be one or many, right? That's also, you can think of it and let me know in the comment section below what you think that cardinality should be. Okay, so once we have that, you're going to move into the customer entity right here. So we have the customer and the customer. So you can see in here we have the customer name and all that information. Okay, so in here we're just going to be okay. For now, let's just go ahead and create the cardinality between this and these two tables right here: the orders table and the other table, which is called the order details table. That's it I want to create. Let's create the connection between those two tables. Okay, so what's the connection between the two tables? So this is going to be an optional or mandatory, this one right here, and one and only one. So drag it right here. So this is what I want, and you just go ahead and map that relation. So we're going to have order number, it's going to be and then this one is right here, is going to be here. So yeah, that's basically it. And I think this order number right here is also going to be a combination of this, is going to be primary key, like combination of the order number and the product code forms the primary key. But this basically can also be foreign key. So basically order number can be a foreign key. So that's basically what we have in here. This order line is not going to be a primary, it's not going to be a foreign key. Okay, let me just delete that. I think I made an error right there. So it's going to be a foreign key. So that's basically it. So one order, like an order detail, can belong to one and only one order. That's basically mean. And an order can have one or mandatory order detail, right? So an order can have no order details related to it or have one order detail related to it. But an order detail must have one and only one order related to it, right? An order detail cannot be shared between two different orders. Each order has its own specific and unique order details, and that's what that cardinality explains. So once we have that done, let's try to establish the relation between the customers and the orders table, right? So one customer can place 0 or multiple orders, but one order must belong to one and only one specific customer. So let's try to establish that relationship, which is this right here. So this is going to be an optional or many. So let's drag that right here. And then this one right here, I'm going to bring it right here. So good, that's what I want to do. So make sure I select this and then bring it right here. So no, let me just make sure this actually is well centered. Good. So one customer can have 0 or none orders or multiple orders. So one customer can have 0 or many orders, and one order must belong to one and only one specific customer. So that's what that cardinality explains. And then lastly, I think we need one more last cardinality. It's going to be the cardinality between the employee and the payments. So like an employee, there can be a relation between the employee and the customer and the payment. So one customer can have 0 or 1, or actually it's going to be 0 or many payments, right? Yeah, that's one thing. One customer can have 0 or many payments. So that, I think that should be it. But one payment must belong to one and only one customer. So let me just try to find that cardinality. So this is gonna be let me try to find it right here. So good. So just gonna go ahead and drop it right here, and this is going to go ahead and relate to this table right here. So since it's already occupied, I think I can just drop it anywhere. It doesn't really matter. So just drop it right here. Okay, good. So what this simply explains is that one customer, sorry, let me just keep this properly. Okay, one customer, right? One customer can have zero or multiple payments than in the payments table, but one payment must belong to one and only one customer, right? So that's basically, so each payment must belong to one and only one customer, but one customer can have zero or multiple payments. Like you can have a customer in your database but has never bought anything, so has never made any payments. You might have another customer that has bought many things, so has made many payments. So that's basically what this cardinality explains. And I think we have one more last cardinality to explain, which is going to be between the employee and the customer, and the employee and the customer, like which employee can handle each customer. Okay, so that's basically it. So let's go ahead and establish that relationship, and I'm just going to go ahead and find the cardinality for this relationship. So let me just find the cardinality right here. Okay, so find that cardinality. It's going to be an optional cardinality and one compulsory. So not this one. Yeah, it can be this one, but must be optional as well. So this one, yeah. So this one right here, and just drop it here, and just this one again, I can drop it right here. So good. So that's basically it, the relation between the customer and the employee table. So I can just zoom also, you guys can see all that. So this is called an ERD diagram. So this is what I've just drawn here is called an ERD diagram, or an entity relationship diagram. So this is how we can drop an ERD diagrams. And yeah, and later upcoming the future videos, we'll learn about the different data types in MySQL, and then later we'll move on to drawing these integration diagrams, and you can see how you can convert these integration diagrams into an actual database. So we don't have to actually write the code; we can just convert these ERDs into an actual database, and look at all of that in the upcoming videos. Okay, so guys, thank you for thank you for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video and you would like to subscribe or follow the channel, please kindly do like the video, share the content with anyone who you think might find it helpful. That's one easy way you can help me. Like the video, share it with anyone who might find it helpful. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Okay, and if you want to help me further, you want to help the channel further, so that my production quality can increase and other stuff like that, you can simply buy me coffee. The links will be in the description as well. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Keep safe.